Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo.
On this episode of the History of the Course podcast with Curtis and Josh, we take a look at the band from Camilla, Georgia, known as Chasing Victory. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at IsSurviveByPro for news and latest episode postings. And make sure to subscribe to the show. Leave us a 5-star review and write us a comment on YouTube or whatever podcast service you're using. And if you'd like to see us do some live streams, leave us a comment or tweet us the keyword stream. Now, without further ado, let's start the show.
The devil is in Atlanta. Army surrounded.
Meet me at the shore, or should it be halfway up? I've got a feeling I'll wake the dead tonight, and they're headed right this way. Welcome back to the History of the Course podcast, sponsored by the Church of Seven Track, where each and every episode we take a look at the history of a band from the core genre. What the heck? I'm Curtis, and with me, as always, is my co-host Josh. Party on, Josh. Huh. Yeah, do that do that again. This time unmute your microphone.
I said, party on, Curtis. Swing, swing, swing.
Right. I don't know which one was better, with or without audio. Because in my head I could hear what you were saying, basically. But the part was like swing, swing. It's like, oh God. Oh, Josh, I see that you have managed another week at Sandals Dragonstone. I always want to say Dragonstone Sandals. Sandals Dragonstone. Where have you been hiding this week, Josh?
I'm just out here on the beach mostly. This is kind of around the
The beach
corner from
dweller.
where a lot of the beach activities normally take place.
Wait,
So,
are you hiding behind a rock
yeah,
till the coast is clear and
big
then you
old
come
rock
running
over
out?
here, and then I'm covered on this side. So,
Another week's stay. I'd like to know if you would like to place a bet on how long Josh is going to be able to stay at Sandals Dragonstone undetected. Please leave your bet in the comments section below, or leave us a review with a comment how long you think Josh will stay. Who knows? He may make it to Christmas. He may be celebrating. He may have the Christmas lights up on the
oh,
beach.
Christmas at Sandals Dragonstone. That sounds
Oh my
amazing.
God. Eventually, they're probably just gonna be like, "You want a job here or what?" Would you take a job if they offered it to you?
I'm gonna try to just blend in with the crew, see if I can get my
Oh
hands
my
on a work
God.
shirt, and then I'll just go from
Right.
there.
Oh man. You're probably gonna end up getting put on like dragon poop duty. You gotta clean up the dragon poop on the beach.
Well, Curtis, that's
Yeah.
not much of an issue here now, so
We'll see. You never know. They have the job for a reason. So there's a season and time for it. All right, Josh. It's been just a little bit, but let's talk about what we've been listening to. Would you like to start?
sure.
Okay, good. Swing. I'm just dying. He had to go dark on me earlier so he could put up his background, just trying to hide something. Let me guess. Is there any Coheed and Cambria or Shibuti or uh whatever the other side project is?
No.
Oh, he's off the wagon. It's the one bad thing
Mm,
about staying at Sandals Dragonstone. They don't have any Coheed and Cambria.
and of course I can't find it now.
No, of course. Okay. Nice. Nice. Very nice. You had too many pictures. You need a clean house.
I need a lot of them.
Well, you can keep some of them, but you probably didn't need to delete about like 75% of those, I'm sure. Do, do, do,
Ah,
do,
there we go.
do, do. Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Nice. I like it.
Just an old favorite. Senses fails, let it enfold you.
Can't go
That was
wrong there.
probably like 2003, 2004.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. You're right. 03, 04.
I'll
I
double
don't remember
check.
exactly what. I'm gonna say 03. No, I'm gonna say 04. No, I'm gonna say 03.
It was 04.
Oh, well. It's a good
Yeah,
time.
just a great classic album to throw on. That's one that, it's like Newfound Glory's Sticks and Stones.
Hmm.
Like just a good album all the way through. Um, I do have a lot of nostalgia for this album for sure, but
Yeah. What year was Sticks and Stones?
that was probably also
Was it 04?
2004. But
I'm gonna say
then
5.
3 or 4 also.
I'm gonna say 5. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna overbid here. Over 05. Come
Oh,
on, baby.
02.
Yeah. Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay,
Hmm.
would you like to go again, Curtis? What
Yes.
year did All American Rejects' first self-titled album come out?
Is that the one with the what was the album cover like?
It's got a shitty old go-kart,
Okay.
similar to the one I smashed up my nose in
No, I
as a
forgot about
child.
that. Okay, this is their first album, right?
Yes.
Okay. And it was self-titled?
Yep.
So that's what I'm talking about, Josh. If
It's
you're
the
gonna
All
do a
American
self-titled
Rejects.
album, yeah, if you're gonna do a self-titled, it should be an EP, like early on. It should be early on in your career, period. But yeah, anyway, I'm stalling here if you can tell. Is it is it 01,
No. Uh
99?
oh no. It was
Okay.
02 also.
Okay. Can I have another one?
You have another one?
One more. One more.
Let's see. Hmm, okay. Um, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus is
Oh
Don't
God.
You Fake It?
Is that the one with was that their big album?
Yes.
Okay. Oh
Yeah, that was their
six.
first one also. 06?
Yeah.
Yep, you got that one.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking that one was oh six. I was wondering maybe if you'd throw a Jimmy Eat World. I think
I can give you a James.
Futures was oh six too, wasn't it?
Futures is actually 04.
R-
And Bleed
What?
American. Yeah, you want to take a shot at Bleed American?
Was it Bleed American after? I was
No, Bleed
thinking
American was
okay,
before.
that's what I was thinking. Okay. So I've just got them both kind of up. Okay. Yeah, Bleed America was oh two.
Um, 01.
Oh one. Okay. I
Yeah,
was thinking it was either be a 2 or 3 year difference.
and does your knowledge of Jimmy Eat World go back any further than that?
No, that's really
Okay.
the main two albums that I know from Jimmy Eat World.
Yeah. Well, there's Clarity, and then there's also Static Prevails.
Okay.
And those were in 96 and 98, or
Woof. When
96 and
did
99. So,
that's their first two albums, right?
yeah.
Wow, okay. Hmm. Nice. Okay, cool, man. Census
The
fail.
middle has almost a billion
Oh,
listens.
dude. You know it. That's their most popular song.
958 million.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's crazy to see numbers that high when a lot of the times we're looking at bands who have like 500,000 listens on one of their
Right.
biggest songs.
Yeah. Let It Unfold You. I agree with you with what you're saying about it. It's a good full-length album. It's good all the way through. When you think of it though, is there one song that pops in your head first
From Let It
from
Unfold
Let It
You.
Unfold You? Yeah. What's usually the song that you think of first?
Oh,
It's basically me trying to say like it's not I'm not trying to ask your favorite, but that's kind of like a little bit lesser extent of what I'm trying to ask.
right. Um,
Because I usually personally have a song that I can associate with each album that I like from any band, you know.
right. Um, I don't know. It'd be tough for me between You're Cute When You Scream or Buried
Right.
Alive.
Yeah, I
But
was gonna say
even
I usually hear Buried
Lady
Alive.
Lady in the Blue Dress too is like also,
Yeah.
so yeah, it'd be hard for me to say between those three.
Okay. Maybe rotates. 'Cause that's the other thing
Yeah.
too, is there's no real wrong answer. I mean, it could be a deal was like, oh, I don't really have like one, maybe like one or two that kind of rotate or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna say Buried Alive. I feel like Buried
Okay.
Alive is that's Census Fail.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's play Doctor Josh. Anyway. All right, cool. Since it's failed, let it unfold you. Classic album, Josh. All righty. Well, a question for you. Have you listened to 68's brand new album?
Um, I think I mentioned to you that I listened to like a couple of tracks off of it, but
Okay.
I still
I
haven't finished it.
Okay, I couldn't remember if you ever listened to it actually or whatever. So I did. I gave it a shot. I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it so much I had to go back to the album right before it too. This one in the middle. And which that one in the middle is probably my favorite. It's
That
their
was their third, right?
third album. Yeah, I can't remember what it's
Okay.
called right off the top of my head though.
See, the
Um,
first two, I think I'm the
mhm.
most familiar with.
Okay. Yeah. See, my thing with 68 is they've got four albums. I really enjoyed the first one. The second one, I felt like it kind of dipped for me personally. I just didn't gravitate to it as much. Their third one was like, yes, we're back in the game here. And then I really do enjoy their newest one, Yes and. Um, but it's one of those where it's like I'm listening to it, and I'm like, this is a good fourth album. But like, I mean, we're 10 years in, Josh. I didn't realize that till the other day. We're 10 years in to this band. They started in 13, 14.
Yeah.
Um,
Guess
14 was when their
Chariot's
first album came out.
been
Hmm.
gone a long time at this point.
Yeah, then there's that too. I don't really know like how much longer they can like really sustain this because
Right.
it's like how much room is there really to grow? The
It all
duo
starts
rock
kind of
thing's
sounding
cool.
the same, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Bro, I think that's the same crap that the Black Keys have run into
Yeah.
and the White Stripes ran into. It's like eventually this runs out because like you can only do so much.
Right.
There's
Now,
only two of you.
right. Well, and that's the other thing too is, I mean, think about who we're dealing with Josh Goggin. I can trust him to know when, okay, I need to put this to rest and start something new. Because he's been one of those people that's like he knows when he needs to leave and close that door and open up a new one.
Right.
So I'll trust him on this one to not overplay it, you know. I hope
Yeah.
I don't get burned by that, but yeah. And then a little post rock for you. Band
Oh,
called Still
I'm
Mountains.
so shocked.
I know, right?
I'm
You
so
gotta you gotta get
shocked.
that post rock in there, buddy.
Post-rock instrumental?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, who could have guessed?
Oh,
Uh,
good. Yeah, you seem so
you and
surprised.
Eric, you guys really get off on those post-rock instrumentals.
We
That's like
do.
you guys bread and butter.
Yep, yep, yep. He brings the butter, I bring the
I
bread.
enjoy them. Like I definitely don't mind them, but sometimes it like just starts to feel so repetitive because there's I don't know, a lot of times your vocals are kind of like your signal changes for a lot of things
Right, yeah.
or I don't know, so it just I don't know. Sometimes I'm in the mood for it, sometimes I'm not. But
Yeah. Well, my thing is I listen to it at certain times when I'm doing certain things. If I've got like a lot of times if I'm doing like editing stuff on the computer here for like our podcast, sometimes I'll turn that on because it's just good like background noise. I'm not having to sit there
yeah.
and like pay attention to it. Because yes, there is a lot of repetitiveness in some of these in the riffs and such. So it's just good for me like background, meditation, background white noise, whatever. So it's not a deal of like 24/7. If I'm getting out on the road, I'm listening to something with lyrics and vocals so I can sing along to or scream along to.
Right.
So But yeah, that's what I listened to this week, Josh. I would recommend you go back and listen to the new 68 album. Give it a shot, Josh. Give it a full shot this time.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't stop because I didn't like it.
No,
I
no, no, I
just,
know. I'm just saying, like,
yeah,
get her done. Get her done, Josh.
right, I hear it. I'm just saying, finish it.
I don't care about your excuses. Just finish it.
Jesus. All right.
All righty, Josh. Let's go ahead and dive on into the band we're talking about today. The band known as Chasing Victory. Have you ever heard of Chasing Victory before, Josh?
I don't think so.
Okay. Their music is categorized in the genre of post-hardcore. Formed in 2001 in Camilla, Georgia by high school friends Adam Harrell. What?
I just, in my head, I'm just like, yeah, okay, what isn't post-hardcore? Like everything is
Good
like, oh, this
generic.
is this is post-hardcore. This is post-hardcore. Oh, it's all
Right.
post-hardcore. The band is categorized as post-hardcore. Oh, that's it? Okay. Usually, you
Uh,
get like three or
a
four
few.
other little genres they fall into. You can kind of be like, okay, so there's at least elements of this, but it's like this is just post-hardcore. Like it's a
What
cereal
else?
that just says cereal.
What else do you hear? Because that's all I got from online.
Um, I don't know. There is a little bit of like, especially in the EP,
Mm,
there's some wedding in there. There's
okay.
some of the wedding.
Okay.
Um,
Good band. Good band.
and it kind of goes in a little different direction,
Well,
uh,
that's second
as we
album.
keep going. Yeah, second album,
Yeah.
and then way out to left
Yeah.
field for the third one.
Yeah.
That third album is
A
trash.
little EP.
The
Yeah.
yeah, the no, the third one.
There's two full-length albums.
Villains or whatever.
Fiends.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm
I
just
thought you were
talking about the
saying
first two albums.
full lengths though, right?
No, I know one's an EP, one's a full length.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
they're
Okay.
just the
Yeah.
first
Okay.
two.
Gotcha.
Yeah, those two are both pretty good, even though they're very different from each other.
Right.
The EP, you could have told me that was like a Further Seems Forever album. I would have been like, oh yeah, uh-huh.
The first EP or the last one?
The first one.
Okay. Gotcha. I'm so confused.
The first
Oh,
EP,
man.
where this starts. Where this starts,
The
you could have told me
beginning.
it was like Further Seems Forever or The Wedding.
Gotcha.
And second album, it's like it's like it's getting a little more bitey.
Mhm.
The vocals have changed. This is like because they didn't do any unclean vocals on the first one.
I don't think so. If they
If there
did, they were just
was,
kind
it
of
was
like
like a
just kind of
little
harsh a
backing.
little, yeah,
Yeah.
light
Um,
harsh.
and then the third one sounds like a freaking new Memphis Mayfire album or something.
It makes me think
Terrible.
of yeah, it made me think like by the time they got to Fiends, they were trying to go like more commercial, but it didn't work out
Yes.
because I'm not like into it. There's a few
Right.
things on there I was kind of like, oh, it's kind of catchy, but it feels like they're trying to drive towards like a commercial
Yes.
album, and it
Yeah.
didn't work out for them. So, but
That's
yeah,
what you get.
that's what you get.
You can't just do that. You can't just be like, oh, we're gonna do that. You kind of have to have like the
It's got to be natural
resources
almost.
and the
Yeah,
connections to do something
right,
like that.
right. Yep. Okay, let me restart here. Formed in 2001 in Camilla, Georgia, by high school friends Adam Harrell on vocals, Jason Lowry on guitar, Michael Lamb on guitar, Taylor Sullivan on bass, and Jeremy Lowry on drums. Now, originally, Josh, this band started out as a cover band under the
Are they
name
are they brothers? Did I hear you say
I
Lamb twice?
Lowry. I believe
Lowry.
they are. Yeah, I think they are brothers,
Okay.
but I couldn't find anything to confirm that.
Okay.
Guitarist and drummer. Originally, this band started as a cover band under the name Bailey Drive. spending the first few years of existence playing local shows here and there while beginning to write their own material and deciding that they wanted to lean more into, you know, non-cover stuff and solely focus on their own music, changing their name to Chasing Victory. Now, along with the name change came a new opportunity as their local shows would catch the eye of one Mono and Stereo Records. Does that sound familiar, Josh? Well, Mono
Mm,
Stereo?
yeah,
Hmm?
kind of, but I don't know
Okay.
who.
Oh, buddy.
Is it Adam?
Maylene and the
Oh.
Sons of Disaster, album number one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mono Stereo Records. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They would assign the band to their label, prompting the group to record their first EP, which was 2004's A Not So Tragic cover up EP, which featured the songs Is This What You Want, Violent and Armed, Come Between Everything, Step Into the Light, and Journal Entry. You mentioned some Further Seems Forever vibes, some wedding vibes.
Yep.
Vocally, I want to say it made me think of The Used. The way he was singing, I was kind of like, it kind of sounds like what is that guy's name? Bert?
Yeah, Burt
Yeah,
McCracken.
man, I was like, kind of sounds like Bert McCracken from The Used. It was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I could see that. There were definitely times over these first two where I'm like, are they doing features or is he just changing his voice a lot? Because there's
Yeah.
times where I'm like, am I hearing Sonny Moore on here? Am I hearing Burt McCracken? Um, there was one other like really prominent one that I can't remember now, but I mean, you get the idea. There, it makes you
Well,
wonder if there's a lot of features because he's just changing the way he's singing a lot, song to song.
the on Fiends, especially the first couple of songs, the way he's doing, I think it was more of like a cadence thing. He made me think he had been listening to My Chemical Romance, Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge. Because for some reason, that kind of like cadence that he has at the beginning of that album, I was like, it makes you think of like Gerard Wade here,
Hmm.
you know? I don't know. You might, listen to a couple of songs off of that album again with that in mind, but let's see what you think. But a quick turnaround from that EP would see the band preparing for material for their first full length album, 2005's I call this Abandonment from Mono and Stereo Records, produced by Nathan Dantzler, Josh Taylor of Jesus wrote in his review of the debut full length album, quotes from the opening sounds of Ocean Away, the urgency level is set. Adam Harrell's vocals have matured and he lets them loose like a wild animal. The music is much more aggressive than on their EP. The emo core elements are still very evident, but they are lost more often than not in the chaos that is, I call this abandonment. It'd be wrong to label this album as hardcore, but the occasional breakdowns make it seem so right. All that aside, one of the album's highest points is actually when it decides to slow down. The First Steps to Recovery is a slow pseudo ballad about Christ taking us away from the worlds we create for ourselves. Pack your bags, here we go. Pack your bags, here he comes. He's coming to take you away. The overall theme of I Call This Abandonment is, well, the abandonment. More specifically, abandoning ourselves to gain Christ. Though still not for everyone, Chasing Victory has matured enough to keep diehard fans happy, as well as gain more fans with their newfound accessibility. I Call This Abandonment is an excellent release that will appeal to most emo core and hardcore fans alike. Continue to keep an eye on these boys from Georgia. There's definitely something special about them. Wrong, wrong, in a way.
Was that a EP before the EP?
An EP before the EP? What are you talking about?
Wasn't he talking about one of the albums?
Yeah, he's talking about I Call This Abandonment. Abandonment. That's their first full length album.
Oh, okay. Or we just not talking about a not so tragic cover up?
Oh, I talked about it. What more do you want to say?
Oh no, I just you didn't do your whole normal like breakdown of it, I felt like so.
Oh, I know. I gave the songs and everything, and then we talked about, like I said, the what we heard on. I mentioned my Burt deal from Used, and we talked about that for a little bit. I didn't have like a review or
Oh,
anything
okay,
for
you're
it.
good. Yeah, I thought that was just like a general
Oh, my bad. No,
discussion. Yeah, and then I
no, no,
realized
no, no, no.
yeah, but then when I started looking at, I call this abandonment. I was like, is this even the one he's talking about? I was like, did we
Yeah,
get
but
ahead of
it's no, it's a
ourselves? Is
fully no,
there
no, no, no. Nope, no, no, no. No, you're good.
with you?
Songs on this first full-length album, I call this Abandonment, include Oceans Away, Unrequited Love, The Night Your Guardian Fell Asleep, A Taste of Your Own Medicine, The Killer is Me, First Steps to Recovery, Pre-Empty Nest Syndrome, Suspects, Alibis, and Partners in Crime, The Real Version of You, Ascension, Escape, and the finale, Speak Easy. You've talked a little bit about this album already, Josh. What more do you have to say about their debut album? I call this Abandonment.
What was it about 2005-ish where everybody was putting people's torsos on their album covers?
Yeah, what else is out there?
Like, I feel like I've seen a
Trying to
million
think.
versions of this album cover.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of a generic. It's
This
got
guy
a
has
drawer
a
on him though.
drawer on his
With
chest with
snakes.
snakes in it. What the?
Ah!
Okay, all
Oh,
right,
close that drawer,
whatever.
please.
Do what you want. I still really like this one, like I kind of mentioned earlier. They're just, it's a little different. Music's
Hmm.
picked up a little bit, a little more bitey. Um, we've switched over to primarily unclean vocals. I don't know, it has a lot of maybe like a Skylit Drive, We Came as Romans kind of feel to it at this point.
Okay. Yeah. Minus
Um,
the synth.
yeah,
Get that
but
guy out of here.
I think I would have maybe seen more replay value for me if they had stayed in the vein of the EP.
Okay. So you wanted them to stick with what they did in the EP,
Yeah,
which is it is very interesting that it's like the EP and this one are like different because you would think
very
you would
different.
travel on from that EP and then change, you know,
Yeah.
which is kind of interesting.
Nope, they made an immediate hard turn here.
Yeah, especially being less than a year apart from each other. It'd be one thing to be like,
Yeah,
hey, we put out this EP, in '02 or '03. And then we kind of let some time go by. It's like, oh, we started kind of changing a little bit. We grew up a little more, and now we're '05. It's like, oh, we want to try something different now. I get that. But yeah, I mean, a year, a year's difference, that's interesting. But
yeah,
I don't know. But then too, at the same time, we kind of mentioned it too. You look at the discography as a whole, you've got four, including the two EPs, you've got four different albums,
yeah.
very different from each other. Um, so man,
What
the
are we
thing
look?
that go
What are
ahead,
we looking at lineup change wise here?
not
Has
good.
anything changed so far?
That I don't know because I didn't get a good I couldn't find a good timeline, but I know there's a lot of member changes in the group
Okay.
throughout their history. But yeah, I couldn't find a good timeline on it. Um, the man, when I first heard this album, I remember it was one of those where it's like I was listening to something in Spotify and I don't think it popped up, like after an album was done. I think it was more of like you look at an artist and says, well, it's a similar artist, or you might also like. And I think the album cover was like the picture. I was like, oh, what the heck is this? So I turned it on and just like that bitey, distorted, unclean, raw vocals on Oceans Away to start. I was like, I'm hooked. I'm done. It's like I'm in. And it was
Yeah.
one for like me is like it just kind of kept getting better and better as I listened to it personally. Like, okay, nice. And we've talked about it before too. I mean, it's obvious what their belief is and in the lyrics here, but they're not on the nose about it. it's a little discreet, you know.
Right.
So that's good. We appreciate that. But yeah, overall, I feel like this is a good album to me. I enjoy it, and I do find myself listening to it time and time again. The next one, not so much. Not so
Yeah, it's
much.
so discreet on the next one. I don't even think he knows what he's talking about.
I don't think so.
I was like
No.
reading through some of the lyrics earlier, just like, ah, what?
But again, I think that goes back to the deal is like you're trying to be something that you're not
Yeah,
instead of just letting things naturally happen. I mean, if it becomes a commercial success, cool, man, but don't force it
yeah.
because
It
then
does
you're
start to feel
writing
very forced after this
right.
album.
Now you're writing on for a purpose. And it's
Yeah,
like, that's not good. Following their 2005 debut album, the band would hit the road across the country to bring their new music to the masses. While touring, the band would begin to write material for their follow-up album, 2007. This is only 2 years later, too. That's the other crazy thing.
right.
2007's Fiends from Mono and Stereo Records. Produced once again by Nathan Dancel and Ethan Luck. Sean Lex of JesusFreak.com wrote in his review of the album, quote, the album opener, Chemical, should be enough to rope you into listening to the whole record, which is magnificently written compilation of hard music written by a clearly accomplished band. Okay. Not just your run-of-the-mill
This
weepy
guy just like
screamo
sucking him
kids.
off for fun, or
Right. Are you getting paid or is this a volunteer thing? Vocal. Remember on episode 3, Josh, of season 2, House of the Dragon? I'm talking about the part with the sucky sucky. You know what I'm
oh,
talking about,
yep,
man?
mm-hmm.
Exactly. The vocals are nice, fairly standard, lots of shrieks mixed in with clear falsetto vocals. Songs like Wolves and Fiends have vocal melodies that remind one of a lot of bands like Mindless Self-Indulgence with their frantic octave changes and coffee grinder full of bones screams. That's a new way to describe it. You ever heard that? Coffee grinder full of bones screams. I'll have to
No,
write that one down. On the softer side of Sears, they've got a lot in common with Bleed American sound of James Eat World, especially heart renders like Brides with his weepy guitar leads and quavering lyrics, breakdowns, and rhythm parts on the aforementioned Chemicals, Fiends, and the second to closer Kings. Keep your feet tabbing with your head knocking. Chasing Victory should achieve a wide range of appeal, not being over the top hard while also not bursting into tears about breaking up with some chick every 2 tracks and writing rock licks to diary entries like The Cure. They've got a good mix of heartfelt and hardcore, something for everyone. And incidentally, if you buy the record at Best Buy, you get 2 bonus tracks, not on the regular cut. A shameless gimmick, maybe, but a good way to get a Christian record at a record store that generally only has a half rack of inspirational CDs that usually include artists like John Tess and Yanni, and B, get 2 additional songs that are likely to be just as satisfying as the rest of an album that is altogether very good. I don't, let me stop right here. Do do bonus tracks usually appeal to you?
no.
Yeah, but say usually bonus tracks are like B-sides and songs that just like didn't make
The
the
only
cut.
bonus tracks I can think of right off the top of my head that are really solid is like maybe some Every Time I Die ones.
Okay.
Like
Well,
Buffalo
yeah.
Gals was a bonus track.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, for the most part, it's like, no, I don't care about that because they don't fit with the
Uh,
rest of the album most of the time. It's just, yeah, they're little one-offs.
yeah. It's interesting. Let's see. I hesitate to call their message positive, but it's not precisely negative. They've got a handful of interesting things to say, like, I'll freeze the frame if you'll take the blame. You're burning up the things you touch and the things you love. I've got the keys to your heart and I'm coming inside from Queens. It's the typical, is he talking about a girl or is he talking about Jesus? ambiguity that you sometimes see in these types of bands, but it's also the lovely thing about art because you can take it as you will. Wolves delivers, she works her magic with a devil's ability. She's a monster, a monster. She's got a fashion that could humble an enemy. She's a monster, a monster. That one's definitely about a girl. Barbarians, I've got the remedy for you. Throw out those medicines you normally consume. I've got the remedy for you. No needles and blood and swallowing tongues. Oh brother, we're falling in love. That one's probably about God. And probably definitely not about a girl. Fiends is certainly a worthy third effort and also certainly worth a listen. Songs on this album include Chemicals, King of the Carp, Wolves, GOB versus Tony Wonder, Fiends, Selling Out, Ain't Easy, Queen, The Skeleton to a Skeleton, Carnies, Rapture Raptors, Januaries, Dr. Jekyll slash Stephen Hyde, Zombies, Ocean Away, the sequel, Bridges, The Groom of St. Albany, Kings, Maya Minions, and Barbarians, Crackle, Racha, T-Thought. Let's hear it, Josh. I heard those rocks rattling around in your head there when you were shaking your head. Give me your
Because
thoughts.
these lyrics are like Seether level bad.
Oh boy. I take it he's not a Seether fan.
Like these are just not good.
Yeah. Go smoke a cigarette and let your hair down.
That's about the extent of it. Yeah.
Oh
They're
man,
just
not good.
yeah, I was reading through the lyrics for Carnies. I'm like,
What a
I don't
name.
know what dude, I don't know what to do with this album. And I don't know how it all goes so wrong in such a short amount of time. Like we've changed so hard over 3 albums, each one being completely different than the last.
Right.
And we arrived at this point where, yeah, I don't know, dude. It feels like they're just jumping the shark, you know? Like they're trying to be
Oh no, Fonzie.
how many albums, Curtis, did Memphis Mayfire have to do? And I'm sorry, Eric, that they're my barometer for all of this, but they have been forever. Um, how many albums do you think they had before they got on that like the douche rock status?
For me personally, let's see. Now I gotta look at their albums real quick. Um,
It's a long discography.
right, but I'm trying to remember what their first one was. Was their first one whatchamacallit that we like? Okay, yeah, 2009 Sleepwalking. For me, I liked Sleepwalking and I liked a little bit of The Hollow, but I felt like you really started losing me after The Hollow. And from there, it was just like, yeah, I don't like this guy. And now he's full blown. And unfortunately, Josh, I don't know how you feel about Amberlynn, the band.
I've never really been a big fan.
So he apparently is a part of that band now, apparently.
Okay. Just for
Yeah.
fun or
Well, so they broke up. Amberlynn broke up a while
Mhm.
back, got back together, and their lead vocalist came back for the reunion, but then I don't remember what the deal was, but he left. And so for touring purposes, Matty Mullins came in and has been playing with the band. And me and Eric had this discussion the other day where they put out a new single and Matty Mullins is on it. And instead of just saying it's Amberlynn, they say Amberlynn featuring or with Matty Mullins, I think is how it is on Spotify. And I told Eric, I was like, well, like to me at this point, it's like he's a part of Amberlynn. I don't understand why they're doing this, like featuring Matty Mullins. You're a part of it, dude. This other guy's not coming back. Why are we doing this weird thing? Because I
I
feel
mean,
like
knowing him, dude, it's a money thing.
right. Well, and that's kind of like what we've been talking about with like Memphis Mayfire. It's like it's not Memphis Mayfire anymore. It's Maddie and the Memphis Mayfires.
Yeah.
because that's what it is, man. It's just him. Yeah. So, okay, that makes sense. I didn't even think about that, the money issue, but it's like, anyway, what do you think? When did they turn douchebag for you?
I would say Challenger, it was like pretty abundantly clear. It's like you get
Yeah. So
to the
we're at the
back
same
half.
time.
Yeah, you get to the back half of the album, it's like, oh, okay. Yep. He's decided that's just who he is now. So,
He's embracing the character. Yeah.
and I think because this would even be 2 years before Sleepwalking,
Mm,
like when this album comes out.
mm,
So maybe it's just like, I don't know, it's more tried and tested by the time that bands like Memphis go all in on it. That's another 5 or 6 years down the road from here.
right.
And I don't know, maybe it just not meant for the time. I think this works as like your fourth or fifth album. It's excusable, maybe not as your third when you've been changing your sound the whole time.
Right, exactly. Because it just feels like you're just restless and you don't know what you want to do.
And it just doesn't land. He clearly like his
No.
strength was to writing lyrics like there were on the first two albums,
Mm,
not whatever he's trying to do here.
yeah.
He's just kind of
Yeah.
trying to make a weird statement in each one of these songs, and it's different for each
It's
one.
not hitting, man. It's
It's
not hitting.
very strange.
In support of their new album, the band would tour the US along with See You Next Tuesday, August Burns Red, and From a Second Story Window. But in fall of that same year, the band would announce that they were breaking up with no real reason as to why. Although the band had officially broken up by the summer of 2008, the band was playing a few one-off reunion shows. But after that summer, the band would go silent once again. In the aftermath of their breakup, vocalist Adam Harrell and guitarist Jason Larry would start a new project known as Astoria, releasing an EP entitled Epic EP in 2010. And in 2014, the band would announce a one show and one show only reunion. Check this one out, Josh. I want to see what your opinion is. A reunion show to raise money for lead vocalist Adam Harrell and his wife to help fund an adoption. You ever heard of anything like that before?
No, I have not.
It's kind of a interesting move. It's kind of torn on that one. I was like, feels wrong to ask people for money for that, but you are also helping a kid out, so
Yeah, tough call.
yeah, tough
I
call.
don't I don't want to make fun of you, but I do.
Yeah, it just was weird. Usually, yeah, you get those as like, oh, somebody had an accident, or we need help with paying a bill, ATV crash, specifically for Dallas Taylor and his medical bills. But yeah, this one was kind of a newer one to me. 2 years later, saw the band release new music for the first time since '07 with a new single entitled She Haunts Me, featuring Patrick Schifano of I Am Terrified. What do you think? You ever heard that band before, Josh? I Am Terrified?
No.
What do you think about that band name, though?
I
I
do
do
like
like
the
that band
name.
name.
I like the
That's a nice
name.
one.
It's up
That's
there. That's it's no pianos become the teeth, but it's up there.
no, it's up there though. Um, Following that, with a short reunion tour in the summer of 2007, in honor of the anniversary of their debut album, I call this Abandonment. Then, Josh, in 2018, the band would release a brand new EP entitled Friends Volume 1, which was self released. Casey Gallenberger of IndieVisionMusic.com wrote in his review of this album, quote, there is no shortage of reunions. There's something special about a 10-year anniversary that invites bands to reunite, even if only for a single tour or new single. In the years apart, it shouldn't surprise fans when new efforts from these bands are decidedly different than their earlier efforts. After all, the era of 2006 post-hardcore sunset years ago. When Chasing Victory announced the reunion, I was intrigued to say the least. I Call This Abandonment was definitely my favorite release from them, and Unrequited Love has quite a reputation, even if it's a bit infamous for being featured in the Metal by Numbers video. It was uncertain what their new sound would showcase up until the release of their single Friends. At this point, any expectation for screaming was quickly dispelled. But I'd argue the music has a bit more honest grit to it now, with its heaviness resulting more from tone and delivery than simple palm muted power chords. Overall, their new style is hard to classify. It's aggressive without being overly punk, and there are a fair bit of sludgy parts mixed in as well. I guess you could say they're playing in the same space as 68 or He Is Legend. It's a good example of a real rock and roll. High energy, strong melodies, and a mood that could fit any number of settings easily. Adam Harrell's vocals are one of the most noticeable changes. He's no longer aiming for impossible tenor notes, and when he does sing a bit higher, it's akin to some of the newer Circus Survive releases. He relies more on his modal register, and his voice has matured quite a bit, or at least his influences have shifted to some large degree. He certainly embraced his Southern heritage too. There are some hints of Dallas Taylor mixed in. The rest of the band are far from complacent as well. Kenosis sounds like it could be a lighter Norma Jean track, okay, with a fair mix of heavy and melodic segments. Drums are non-intrusive and oscillate between delicate and intentional to full out assault on the kit. Ultimately, there's a nice mix of grunge, pop, punk, not pop punk, grunge, punk, and southern rock influence that all members contribute to. The energy and groove definitely give Friends Volume 1 plenty of potential as a party album. Ooh, party. And it's accessible to the point where I could even see it used in a movie at some point. Even so, the closing track, No Regrets, is my personal favorite. It's the most melodic track, and it's definitely moody. I let me down again, but in my own defense, I never said I was innocent, Harold cries out during the chorus. It's a dissonant and emotional track with heavier lyrical content, but it all works together so well. Female guest harmonies add yet another layer to the song, and the track closes on groovy, bass-heavy segment. It's a strong end to the EP. Fans can be thankful or hateful that Chasing Victory is not relying on their nostalgia factor for this EP. They could have easily rebranded, as there are few nods to their earlier material. Perhaps if they have continued to release more music in the gap, it would seem like a more natural transition. Nonetheless, if you're looking for a rehash of I Call This Abandonment, you'll be disappointed. Even so, Chasing Victory manages to bring all the aggression and energy you'd expect, this time a bit subdued and packaged quite a bit differently. The new vocal direction is definitely a highlight. The overall musical direction is a bit hit and miss. All members certainly know what they're doing, but the change in style is a risk. The risk pays off on much of the EP, but there are a few weaker moments nonetheless. Thankfully, with a title like Volume 1, we can expect more material on the way. Chasing Victory certainly has potential with their new direction. Songs on this EP include Friends, Kenosis, Leech, and No Regrets. Josh, do they have potential with their new direction?
I don't think so.
Okay. You'd have to
mean,
think, though, there will be a Volume 2.
any remaining members have to be like 40 or so, right?
Right. Yeah.
I
They're not this
mean,
young anymore.
yeah. Um, I don't know. I listened to, is it just those three tracks? Friends,
There's
Kenosis, and No Regrets?
there's a fourth one too entitled Leech,
Okay.
but
I
there's
didn't
only
see
like
that
two of
one.
them on Spotify though, right?
Yeah, I found No Regrets on YouTube. But
Yeah, but yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
all
It
there
makes
is.
me think of what was the one that Under Oath did after Disambiguation?
Oh, they had the two new songs, but it was also like
Yeah.
greatest hits album.
Yeah.
What
Was that
was
called
that
like
album called?
Sunburn or something like that?
Yeah, one of them was Sunburnt. Can't remember what the other song was called, but I think that was Anthology. album.
Okay. Yeah,
Like 99 to 2013 or whatever.
I could tell when I heard those two songs that it was over. I
Seos
don't,
and Circus Survive sound.
yeah. Everybody gets
The
into
end is
doing those
nigh.
weird like hallway vocals all the time where like it sounds super hollow and like you're yelling into a tin can.
Right.
Just I don't know. And like we said, dude, they should have started something else a long time ago. Now you're just at this place where, you know, almost 20 years. Well, no, okay. When did the first album come out?
Oh five. So you're
Okay,
almost
yeah.
20
So
years.
we're almost 20 years outside. And this article is like, oh yeah, things are looking hopeful for the
Thanks for
band
looking
again.
up.
Like, dude, I hope they were doing something else because this is a massive waste of time.
Well, but here's the other thing too. This EP came out in 18.
Right.
So I
So that
mean,
was 6 years ago.
that's 6 years ago, dude. If you don't have something in the works by now, then you probably don't have anything going for you.
Yeah.
It's probably good to just close that book,
I'm really
slide it away.
surprised that I feel like if we're talking about two or three albums, we usually get one review that's like,
Eh,
it was mid,
yeah,
it was okay.
I couldn't find one anywhere that like people were like dogging on it or like you're saying it's like, you know.
It's
I
just
mean, this
weird.
one kind of was like, oh, there's some hits and miss here and there, but it seemed like all the ones that I read were like, yes, this is a great band. They're gonna be one of the best bands ever. And they're okay band. I mean, they had their purpose.
The one
But
that really confused me was Fiends. I can't understand how
yeah,
that guy
I
thought it was good.
season 2, episode 3, Josh. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
He was getting
agreed.
paid probably, bro. Again, I think that goes into you're trying to write a commercial album. You probably paid some of these reviewers like, hey, bro, help us out, man. Help a brother out,
Yeah,
you
you
know?
never really know
So,
what's kind of going on between music journalists
mhm.
and labels and stuff, you know.
Yeah, I would probably don't want to know. If it's anything like season 2, episode 3, I don't want
Oh
to
my
know.
God. Is that going to be your reference point for everything now?
When you start saying the things you say, I'm going to bring it up.
Okay, all right.
All right, man. If you know, you know. I mean, I will say this. No, never mind. I'll just move on.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. We'll move
Okay.
on. Leave that for another day. Yeah. So, I mean, that's where we're at, Josh. We're 6 years removed from this last EP. I haven't even got like a single or anything. I've gotten, a few, they've played like Furnace Fest, a few like one-off shows here and there. And again, with the whole deal of calling it Friends Volume 1, you would think, okay, there's probably going to be like Volume 2, whether that's an EP or a full length. But again, we're 6 years removed. I mean, what are you not going to make? What are we doing?
It's over. It's
It's
over, man.
over. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe they'll make part two in another 6 years.
Oh, God. Maybe so.
They'll
Final
be
thoughts,
like
Josh. Oh, go ahead.
mailing and just keep
God,
stringing people
jeez.
along.
Almost got it. Final thoughts, Josh, on the band known as Chasing Victory.
I just
Just couldn't get
it,
off the ground, man. Couldn't figure it out.
yeah, I mean, like I said, I could have seen more replay value for me if it more of it had been like the first or even the second album, but
Mhm.
it's clear they don't really know what their sound is because every one of these sounds different. They're just trying something new each time, hoping that it sticks a little better.
Oh, you know what? I wonder what kind of music they played in their cover band. Because I wonder if that kind of contributes to like never being able to like settle on something. So if
Yeah,
your
that's a
if
good
your
point.
cover band was like, we're doing some Justin Timberlake, but we're also doing some
We only
Norma
do 90s
Jean.
Joel covers.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah. If you got like a wide variety, it's kind of like I could see where that probably bleeds over into your own music where it's like you can't really settle on something, you
Right.
know? So I just thought about that. Hmm. Anyway, yeah, it would have been nice if you had a game plan of doing what you did on the first EP and the first album for, one or two more albums, and then kind of gradually maybe change to what you were trying to do on Fiends. Not so harsh, of a
Yeah.
change,
You gotta let it
but
naturally take you someplace. You can't just
it's got
say,
to
"Hey
be
guys, you
organic,
know what
bro.
would be cool?"
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just kind of
It's
gotta
good on
move
the
that
radio.
way.
I agree. I agree. All righty, let's get on out of here, Josh. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at is survived by pro for news and the latest episode postings, not just on the show, but our other shows as well. We have the History of the Cores After Hours podcast, where I sit down with my good friend and avid listener of this very podcast, Eric, and we discuss some of the bands me and Josh have already talked about. We also have the Red Right Hand podcast, which has covered all 6 seasons, and there will be a movie. By
It's
God, there will
coming.
be a movie.
We know it. If we have
We
to
we
make it
well,
happen, it's coming.
well, I was supposed to say we talked about it before on a previous episode. We got to go over there to Ireland.
Don't reiterate threats we've made, okay?
We will do it. We will come for you. Ah, yeah, we will make the movie. Uh, oh boy. Of Peaky Blinders. We also have the Throne of the Dragon podcast, which has covered season 1 and season 2, soon to be season 3 of HBO's House of the Dragon. I'm getting ahead of it. I'm getting ahead of it now, buddy.
That's optimistic.
Okay, question for you real quick. Because obviously we'll get there's the game plan to get is it a Night of the Seven Kingdoms? Yeah,
Yep.
we're supposed to be getting that before the next season of House of the Dragon.
I believe it will because I've already started filming.
Okay. So are we gonna cover that?
Oh yeah.
We just gonna stick with House of the Dragon, right?
No, we'll be covering Night of the
No,
Seven
I mean
Kingdoms
like
also.
are we sticking I'm sorry. Are we sticking with the name Throne of the Dragon?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure that's what we're doing. That's the game plan.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, business meeting live
Which is
on
gonna
air.
be it's gonna be our
It's the umbrella.
all-encompassing Westeros Game of Thrones brand. So
I like it. Yeah, so be on the lookout for that. And we're what's the plan too on the books? Are we doing Dunk and Egg next? Or are we doing Night of the Seven Kingdoms?
it's the same.
It's the
Night
same,
of the
okay.
Seven Kingdoms is just the three short
Dunk and
stories
Egg.
put together. Say short
Okay.
stories, just short books put together.
Okay.
There's the Hedge Knight, the Mystery Knight, and you're gonna do this to me again. The Hedge Knight, the Mystery Knight, and the Sworn Sword. There we go.
Gotcha. Okay. And it would make sense to probably do those with, Night of the Seven Kingdoms coming up on HBO. So yeah.
But we'll be doing it.
Hashing out business live on the air. Also, while you're on Twitter, make sure, while you're on it too, I mean, go back and rewatch season 1 and season 2 of Throne of the Dragon. Why not? Get our reactions and our craziness. Season 2, episode 3. Also, while you're on Twitter, make sure to follow my co-host at Joshua Lynn Gary. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review and write us a comment on whatever podcast service you're using. And if you want to listen to us and see our smiling faces or the nice side of Dragonstone behind Josh, head on over to our YouTube page. Just search Is Survived by Productions. That'll have every episode from all of our shows. Subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up the video. Josh, now that I think of it, it's probably a good idea for you to stay at Sandals Dragonstone during this next ban, because I don't want you back around any of your bad influences at home, okay? Because we're going to be covering Coheed and Cambria next. So I need you to stay there in seclusion. No, you got to stay in seclusion, buddy. We need you to keep hiding out behind that rock, okay? You can still telecommute, but I need you away from all your bad influences here to just like overdose yourself, okay?
I'll be there in my Claudio wig.
Oh my gosh. Alrighty, yeah. Until that 4 or 20-part episode series, we'll see you.